Just sitting out here, thought I would do a little chit chat and ask you guys a question. Just sitting out here thinking. I had lunch with a friend of mine today, and friend and her husband. They know who they are. Shout out my fam. And we had an amazing time, and we got to talking about something as a team. And I thought I would just come on and get your thoughts on, do you feel like as you're getting older and maturing, is it getting easier for you to tell people no? And I'll tell you what prompted this conversation. Um, is it getting easier to tell people no, to express yourself? Are you, or have you always been like that? Nope, not gonna do it. No, no go. I'm not interested. Bye, deuces. So, for me, I find myself to be people pleaser a little bit. I like to make people happy, and sometimes people take your kindness for weakness. I've talked about that on this channel before. Sometimes people take your kindness for weakness. That could be at work. Are you always saying, "Sure, I'll come in"? I'm just sitting out here talking, so I ain't got no makeup, no nothing. Just doing life. I told you I was gonna be a little bit more of that on the channel. So, but anyway, it could be you always say yes to go to work. Extra. You the first person to leave, first person to come in rather, when they need something extra. But is it reciprocated? Reciprocated? Do they do the same thing for you? Is the bottom line. I've seen people that, and I'm gonna get to my story why this all came about in a minute, but these are just some things for you to think about. I've seen people at some of my various jobs I've had where they're the first person, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then when they need something, the company's like, nope. But the person who kind of like, nah, I can't do it, that person gets everything. I'll never understand that one for the life of me, but I saw it so many times in work. So anyway, the reason this topic came up again, just getting older, and I find myself being able to say no a little bit easier. I had a situation, and I gotta try to do it loosely just in case the person watches me. Okay, I'm gonna try to change up just a little bit of it, and I'm doing that not because I'm scared, but because I don't want to, hurt people's feelings. You don't want to just be mean spirited, and that's what sometimes people take as getting older. Well, I could just say what I want to say. I'm older, I've earned the right, and that's being nasty and mean. Hey David, what's up? And we're just chit chatting about, is it easier for you to say no as you're getting older? Okay, or do you still need some help in that area? And how do people treat you when you always say yes? Are they even deserving of you always? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, 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 yeah. It could be your grandkids. It could be your grown kids. It could be your husband. Anybody constantly just taking, 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 and never give, 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 right? But that's not, so this is a mixed story. So anyway, so what happened, I have a business, and I had someone that wanted me to look at a business proposal that they had for me. Now, the business proposal that they had, we're in the same line of work, but I chose not to even take the meeting because they wanted me to sign an NDA. They wanted me to sign an NDA. They wanted me to sign something saying that I won't talk about what they shared with me. They wanted me to sign an NDA saying that I won't pursue the same line of business that they're, telling me about, informing me about. And David says it's in between, like the time and the people is when you choose, is it hard or not? Yeah, and it's not a blanket rule. I appreciate that, David. It's not a blanket rule. You're gonna tell people, no, I ain't doing that every time somebody asks you something. So you do have to look at the whole totality of a situation. I agree. Thank you for that. But in this case, we did business with this person before, and because they did teach me something in the business, they did have a reduction in their business financially. So the person has made that comment several times. Well, because of you, my business is reduced, and I'm never teaching anybody in my own backyard again. Okay, so that lets me know, hey, you already had a problem with something that we did in the past. Am I really ready to get in bed with you, so to speak, again, and let you even show me your product that you're talking about? I thought about it a few days. So I talked to my husband about it. And as I reasoned with him, because Jeffrey is always of the mindset, okay, Yeah, sure. And I told him sure too until he sent me the NDA. Once you sent me that NDA, everything changed. And it's not that I wanted to steal his product or steal his information. It wasn't any of that. It was just more, because we already been down this road before, even when I started doing my own business. So again, we're in a similar. So let's say, for example, you do carpet cleaning, your friend does carpet cleaning, and they're like, hey, I want to teach you about a new procedure that I'm doing, and they want you to kind of, it's something that you don't offer, so they want you to offer it to your clients. You don't know how to do it, but they want you to offer it to your clients. So, hey, so he's like, well, I'm going to show you how to clean this part of the carpet and do this particular procedure, but I just want you to tell your people about me. I'm going to have you sign an NDA that you don't share this proprietary secret. I think it's proprietary secret that I'm sharing with you. So I was like, no, I ain't signing that. Mm-mm. So I had to have the conversation. We were supposed to have the meeting. He said, well, hey, did you guys sign the NDA yet? And I'm like, I said, no. I said to myself, I said, no, we ain't signing yet, and not going to, and not going to sign it, to myself and to my husband after I explained it to him. So anyway, I called the guy, and I was like, hey, I was really thinking. I said, I really want us to maintain a professional relationship, and I really want us to maintain a professional relationship, and I don't want to, and because we're in the exact same line of business, and if I create the same product in the future, I don't even want any kind of word or thought that they stole that from me, right? So it felt really good. It felt liberating. It felt really good to tell him no. We would not be doing it. He wasn't happy about it, and that's the other thing. When you're telling people, no, I'm not going to do something, somebody going to be upset. And I've always been of that mindset. They want you to do something, especially when I was working outside the home. And managers wanted me to work, and it changed my whole everything. And I was like, nope, no can do, you know? And they respect you sometimes. Sometimes you got to tell people no. You got to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. So to conclude this other story, though, so I told him no. He tried to reason with me. Well, I really wanted to help you guys out. I always have your best interest, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't doubt that he does. But again, I'm not getting ready to do that business deal with you. I don't even want to know nothing about your product. So it got me to thinking, as you get older, do you find it easier or harder to stand up for yourself? Some people say it's come with age. And like I was saying earlier, a lot of older people will feel like, well, you know what? I got the right to just go off on people, or just be straight up, no chaser, is what I like to say. I don't think you get the right to be disrespectful, but I do think you get the right to express yourself. And you have to. You have to. I have a situation now that happened years ago. It's been 3 or 4 years ago. And if I had stood up then, we still gonna be in the same situation. That's just facts. But it didn't have to go down the way it did. It didn't have to go down the way it did. We still was gonna be in the same situation. And you gotta be prepared, guys, when you are at odds with somebody, or you confront somebody, or you tell somebody no, it could change the relationship, because they may be used to you saying, sure, I'll do it, no problem, I got you, yeah. That's why they call people yes man, hype man, right? Always yes. That's why a lot of superstars and singers and stuff like that, a lot of them end up losing their life because somebody never could tell them no. No, drugs are bad for you. No, you should not be doing that. Nobody could ever say no to them. So again, it's just conversation, something for you to think about. And I'm not saying you need to start telling everybody no tomorrow, but for some of us, we might need to start setting some boundaries. Yes, you may not want to keep them grandkids. I was watching House Hunters, and it was a really good episode. It was a mother on there, a mother, and she had 4 daughters or 5 daughters, and she had left the state after she lost her mother, and she lost her husband. She moved to Florida. They were from New Jersey, And she went back. She said, you know what? I lost them. I had to get out and I had to get a new life, a new lease on life. So she moved to Florida. And when she got down there, she loved it for a while. And she was like, you know what? I really want to go back and see my grandkids. I want to have a relationship with them. I want to see them. But I'm not trying to be a full-time babysitter. And her daughter, every house she went to, this would be a great house for the kids, Mom. This would be a great place for you to cook. And the mother just stood her ground. She was like, no, I'm not coming back to babysit. So a lot of us, and it depends on your circumstances. Again, everybody's circumstance is different. You may have to help your grandchildren. You may have to help your adult children. But a lot of people now are their lives, and I've seen a lot of death, guys, and that's why sometimes my opinion on stuff is just a little bit different. I've seen a lot of people have accidents and things happen, and you wake up and you thought your life was going in this direction, it's going in another direction, and we just giving our life and our time to people. We're just giving our life and time to people, and nothing left for us. It could be work too. It could be work too. Just giving our life away. So, kind of think about who is it in your life you need to set some boundaries with. It's somebody. Anybody want to share right quick? Who do you need to set boundaries with? Mother-in-law? Always calling? That's not my problem. So just in case my mother-in-law watching, that's not my problem. But it could be for some people. My friend, actually, I have a dear friend, and several, that the mother-in-laws was just a little bit too much in the business. It's hard to set that boundary. My mother could be one of those people. I'm like, Mom, that's my husband. That's my husband. And she looking like, but I'm your mama. I birthed you. She would always say that. She would always say that. I think I ain't got bit out here, y'all. You see that? Look at that. I didn't got bit. Yeah, but she would always say that I'm your mother. I birthed you. And I'm like, but that's my husband. So it's a fine line. And sometimes people put you in situations where you got to try to walk in both worlds. I didn't want to disappoint my mom. Definitely don't want to disappoint my husband. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. So, you know, um, again, got to be prepared that the relationship may change. The first time you tell that person no, they're going to be like, what? I know she ain't say no. I know he did not say no. what he told me no. So yeah, I said no. Now I will try to explain it, and then my husband always tell me, Kim, you don't have to explain yourself. If you're not gonna do it, it's no. I believe in giving an answer. Now you can tell me how you feel in the comments. I believe in, you know what? No, I can't do such and such because, and most of the time it ain't life or death. Hey, y'all coming to the barbecue? Well, that might be a straight yes or no. Now, if it's my really good friend and she asked me to the barbecue, she may want to know, well, why the heck ain't you coming to the barbecue? And I will usually try to give an answer. But typically, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to give a person a reason. It's like, no, I can't do that. Why? Ain't no why. I just said no. So, it is. I always think like it's already been mentioned here. Is every situation is different, but I just want to give you guys something to think about. Again, who do you need to say no to make you happier? Now, we ain't talking about destroying relationships. We just talking about setting boundaries, maybe doing some stuff differently. So we ain't talking about going DEFCON 3. So don't be calling me talking about, girl, I talked to such and such and I told them no. But I will say, for real, be prepared that the relationship could change, especially if someone's been treating you a certain way for such a long time. And again, that was my experience. I took something off somebody for a long time, y'all. And one day I was like, boom, that's it. It was one more thing. It was that one more straw that broke the camel's back. And your girl came out of character. Hey, neighbors. Your girl came out of character, okay? She came straight out of character. That's why I said, who do you need to say no to? Nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud, okay? That means handle it today. Handle it in a professional way, in a loving way. And again, that don't mean the relationship ain't gonna change. Because when you go to tell somebody about themselves, girl, you hurt my feelings when you did ABC. You hurt my feelings when you did that, you know. And you go to tell them about it, and people say, "Well, you're sensitive. You're sensitive." No, I'm human. No, you're sensitive. Do they even look at the fact, well, you got stuff going on, fighting traffic, got your health problems, your family got health problems, your kids got problems. People don't look at all that. They don't look at all that. It's just like, this happened, I'm done with you, bye. Okay, bye. And you got to be prepared that the relationship is going to change. It's going to change. It might be somebody that's ready to tell you no. Is it somebody you always asking for money, right? And they need to tell you no. It might change your life. I'll tell y'all one more story, then I'm gonna get out of here. One time, my dad had given me some money, and this was years ago. I've lost my dad, 6 years coming up, and my sister was relocating to our town, and he wanted to know something about her, and I'm trying to respect the boundary of my sister. I'm like, well, she didn't want me to share this with y'all. We all grown. It ain't like we kids and somebody can get in trouble from the decision. It was just, I'm not ready to share that with mom and dad yet. So I respectfully tell my dad that. I said, hey, she's not really ready for me to share that with y'all. What? In my family, everybody business is everybody business. Your business is their business. My business is their business. My neighbor's business is their business. Okay, what? I tell my mama, yeah, my neighbor did such and such. What? I'll be over there in 5 minutes. That's how I was. That's the family I come from. So I told my dad that. He was livid. He was livid. He was like, what you mean you ain't gonna tell me this? And I was like, well, Dad, she don't want me to share that with you. Oh, I told y'all that ain't how we roll. So he who holds the money, hold the power, hold the strings. Oh, that's another conversation for another day. We will have it. I'm not afraid to have it. But anyway, this particular one, my dad was like, I heard him in the background. Another day I called because I again refused just to give this information. And again, it wasn't nothing that could hurt my sister. It wasn't nothing that could harm my parents. It was just, well, he did feel that it was something that could hurt her. But it was a decision that she had to make. And it wasn't like, again, life or death. It was just a changing of a job situation. And he told me, he was like, get that loan out my name. You think life was so easy? Get that loan out my name. And I was like, what? How am I gonna do that? I it was a nice amount of credit, and it's so funny. My mother didn't even remember she had did that for me, but it was a nice amount of credit because she was trying to help me reduce my interest rates on my credit cards. That's another story for another day too. I got y'all. But she was trying to help me reduce my interest rates on my credit cards. So I put all my credit cards on this one card that she gave me, and I was gonna pay that card off because it had 0% interest. And my dad flipped out, and once he told me that, I think but don't forget now, because I didn't have any credit in my name at the time, I had got rid of everything. I paid it off via using my mom's card. Now my credit score shot up to like a 850 or whatever. It was hot. So it wasn't nothing for me to go back and get another loan at this point and get the loan out my father's name. And that's what I did. And I said that'd be the last time somebody ever tell me or had that much control over my life. Because imagine if I didn't have the credit and he's upset with me and he's trying to, what? What? So that was the best no or best decision that my dad could have, helped me to come to my own decision that, hey, you better handle your business. You better handle your business. Don't be relying on somebody else to pay your bills or help you out your situations. You better walk in this world. God bless the child that's got his own, right? God bless the child that's got his own. So again, my parents were always there for me to the day that they left this earth. I was there for them to the day that they left this earth. But that particular situation helped me to see, get your life, get your financial life in order. When I come and see you as my parent, I'm coming to see you because I want to, not because I owe you money. I never did that anyway, but I'm just saying money changes the relationship. Now we talk about something else, y'all. We can talk about this all day. I got all kind of stories. But money changes the dynamics. He who pays the bills pulls the strings. He who got the cash pulls the strings. Okay, so let's just be clear. So, you know, We're gonna wrap it up like this because I'm gonna wrap this up. But again, who do you need to say no to? Who might say no to you where you need to go ahead right now and get your life in order? Who? Are you living with somebody? And I'm gonna go there really quick because I have somebody else in my life, another part of my life. They living with somebody and they scared they might put them out and all this and all that. Mm-mm. Better have your own. Better have your own. If you don't have your own, you better know how to get your own. Okay, you heard it here first. Don't be letting somebody be able to just put you out. Uh-uh. I'm old school. Have your own. Now, if you got somebody you can share some things with, that's great. Y'all can help each other out. Perfect. But ain't no man about to tell me you got to go. You got to go. Okay? Now I'm about to really go off on a tangent. But actually, I'm about to wrap this up. But I'm just saying, I don't like those kind of stories. I don't like those kind of stories. I have to stay. I have to do this. You know, he got me. You know, I don't, no. Mm-mm. Know where the money at, people. My married people out there, know where the insurance at. Does he even have insurance? See, I gotta go. I'll be here all night. But I will be back and we will have these future conversations. So let me know if y'all like this kind of conversation or not. Just about life. We'll do some more of this. Whatever you guys want to do. I know y'all love the cooking segments. We will continue to bring you those cooking segments. But sometimes, like I said, I'm just sitting out here, just kicking, just sitting and chilling, okay? If you're not subscribed to the channel, thank you all again for the likes. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We will be doing more chit chat like this. I'll be in touch. Bye. Again, who do you need to tell no to? Better yet, who might be waiting to tell you no? Think about it. Bye. This is Kimmi.